Welcome to Team Super 6 presentation for knowledge-based lab interpretation for clinicians at the point of care. This is deliverable 4 and the link to presentation will be added after the presentation. The Team Super 6 consists of Bryan, Baysinger, Nikhil, Patel, Maksood, Mohiuddin, Chris, Bougher, Arunkumar, Modukuri, and Robert Attaway. This is the updated Gantt chart for our team. Since the last deliverable, we have finished mostly all of the stuff we listed. We completed the UX and fire data analysis, the integration of UX and fire data. The pending stuff is the end-to-end testing. We could not finish it because of the time, and we haven't had any feedback and haven't fixed any bugs because there were none to report yet. And we also are pending the sign-off from the mentor. Project status. So what's been completed? So far we completed the alpha version of the LFT interpretation tool. Application has been released. Project CI/CD pipeline, including Jenkins files, Docker, and Docker compose.yml has been completed and is fully functional. User can search for patient using any part of their last name and get the result of LFT interpretation using the 3 rules brought in by Dr. Parker. We have more rules coming in, so that will be added later. Application implementation has been changed from Java to Angular. We could not all agree on Java, so we decided to switch to Angular. Application design has been changed from multi-page to single page, so it's a single-page application. The risk we encounter were stability of the project fire database infrastructure. We had it failing multiple times during our development. The end-to-end testing was not conducted. Mentor presentation has not occurred yet due to the lack of available public URL. Right. Research, we researched the line codes for the LFT observation data. There were like almost 6 of them, but the useful data was, the useful codes were only 2. Also, we had some the online websites where we researched for the tests, what the test gives out and what are the values and how the values affect the rules. Also mapping and translation of LFT observations data to rules, which was provided by Dr. Park. The next steps are implement additional 14 rules that Dr. Park provided, continued development of UI, refine existing code as needed, and end-to-end testing, and also review of any outstanding issues and contact Dr. Park for additional perspectives. We'll go through screenshots for the application. This is the default page. User can enter the last name and search for it, and all the patients will be listed. Once the user selects the patient, all the observation, only LFT observation will be displayed, and if any of the observation will trigger a rule, the analysis will be presented below there. And if the observation doesn't trigger any rule, then there will be no analysis. So the patient is healthy and good. From here on, Maksood will take over and present the code and the deployment and also app demo.
So here's the GitHub link for the project. Here we are hosting our code. As you can see in the code, we have a extra level of folder structure for the project code. Our Jenkins file is located in this project. We also have a README file which instructs how to deploy the code in a local environment, how to run it, and the manual for the app. Now when we go here on the LFT interpretation here, this is the source code of the project. Here we have the Docker file, a Docker compose file, as well as the final delivery is located here as well, and the SRC, the source folder, has all the source code where we need. Under there, the app folder the fire folder has actually the code we need here for the fire search. Here, the components we're using for the application. Now, I'll list the Jenkins. So this is our CI/CD pipeline using Jenkins file. As you can see, we deployed it today. So what happens in the somebody checked in to the master branch of this GitHub that we have a Git hookup which triggers this Jenkins job and which builds the app and deployed to ranchers and to the HDAP environment. So once that's been deployed, it goes to the application demo. So in the application, you can see this is the landing page of our application. Here we have on the top level, we have four different options. Fire search, use sample data set, downloader, and uploader. Now the Fire search is the only one we are concerned about because that's the one connect to the Georgia Tech Fire server. Now, if I go back to the app, the sample data set it's a proof of concept for architecture purpose where we're using a JSON file to connect to our app. It's not currently being used. Same as for a downloader. Downloader will be used as a future feature for the application where the user can download the analysis as a text file, for example, a JSON file, but we are not using that yet. As well as an uploader where a user can upload patient data from JSON file to this application and can run the LFT analyzer for that. Now for the application, we can search a patient by any part of their last name. For example, I'm searching for LINTH, and that returns 3 patient, and it talks from the Georgia Tech Fire server. From this patient, we can click on a patient. For example, if I click on Charlie Linthicum, patient ID with 33204, it will, now at this time, the application is getting all the LFT observation for the patient and running the analysis for LFT rules provided by Dr. Park, the 3 rules Dr. Park provided. Once that's been done, it will return the lab observation result for LFTs as well as any rules triggered. So here's the raw observation data. It lists all the values, the encounter, the date that encounter happened. Now, one point to note is this data is mock data, so some of them is not necessarily correct data, but we do have the values we need. Now, based on the values, our app runs the interpretation rules and triggers whatever rules is here. It's showed that moderate elevation in AST and LT. It has a reference to how that rules where that rules came from, the URL for it, the simple analysis of that rules, and the detailed analysis of that rule. Now, another thing I wanted to display is if you search for a patient which doesn't exist, the app, for example, I searched for my last name, app couldn't find any patient by that name. It notified the user that that's not the case. Now, if I also search for a patient which is existing, but it doesn't have any, it doesn't trigger any rule for the observation data, the app will also do that. In this case, well, this patient has LFT observation data, but not any rule triggered for those date. Also I wanted to point out that we have a spinner running because this process takes about 30 seconds. So as you see, the result has been returned for the LFT observation, but no LFT interpretation was found for that patient. So the app, you can search for other patients. So that's the demo of our application. And if you have any question, you can contact us. And we are looking forward to present this to our mentor, Dr. Park. And thank you for your time.